In the lecture 32, we have seen a programming language construct, namely structure, provided by the C language, which enables a programmer to create a data object which can contain a finite number of fields of different data type. And in the lecture 33, we have seen how structure variables can be processed in a program. We have seen how structure elements can be accessed, how structure variables can be passed as arguments to a function, and how we can return structure variable from a function. And today we are going to see another programming construct provided by the C language, which is again for creating compound data objects. And the topic for today is union, which is again a compound data object in C. So why we need union data objects? We can try to understand the need for such a programming language construct. So we will look at a motivating example, and later we can see what are union data objects. Consider a system maintaining the information about requests or applications received from the students in a department. And suppose the computer science department wants to maintain the details about the applications submitted by the students for various certificates and all. For example, this could be the pending application details. So the first one is application number 1 submitted by Eddie Philip with ID of that student as 202031, and the type of application that he has submitted is for course and contact certificate. So this means this particular application is pending with the institution. And if you look at the second application, this is the application number which is submitted by Anish Krishnan, and you see that now the ID of the applicant is TVE20CSE11, so another ID, and the application is reevaluation. So this particular application is forwarded to the university because reevaluation for university examination is to be decided by the university. So here the important thing is that the ID of the applicant, which is a field, which is the admission number, just a natural number, if the application is to be decided by the institution. If the institution or our college is the authority to provide that certificate or decide on that application, then the ID of the student is the admission number of the student in that institution. And if it is an application which is to be forwarded to the university, the application number, the admission number in the college is not making any sense. Then the ID should be the ID given by the university to that particular student. For example, in the Kerala Technological University, it says, okay, Trivandrum Engineering College, this is the code for our college, and admission year 20, in the department CSC, maybe the 11th student. So this is the, whatever it may be, it is a unique ID given to a student by the university. I think you are getting the point. So So the applicant shall give her admission number or university register number as the value for the third field, depending on what kind of an application she is submitting. If it is to be forwarded to the university, she will be submitting the unique ID for her in the university, otherwise admission number. Now the question is, the problem here is the data type of the third field is either an unsigned integer like this, or it is a character array like this. So that is an interesting programming requirement. Question is, how can a programmer represent the third field? So you as a programmer has to decide, then how can I represent the ID of applicant as a field? If you have the freedom to have two different fields, maybe university ID and college ID, that is easy, you can have a structure. But suppose that is not allowed, because for the application which is forwarded to the university, admission number is irrelevant, and if it is in the college, it is relevant. So this is the particular programming requirement. So how will you deal with it? And the answer is, you can deal with it with a compound data type which is union, in which only one of the two members is active at a time. So if you look at maybe for an application, the ID is the admission number in the college, or it could be the university registration number, but it cannot be both. Okay, I think you are getting the requirement. So for this kind of situation, where you need only one member of a compound data object at a time, but that member may depend on the context in which that particular variable is used. In this particular example, out of the two members at a time, one will be used. In general, out of n members, just one member can be used. So with this motivating example, let us look at a concrete example. So we are going to see a compound data type whose variables need only one member active at a time. So here is an example. I am showing you the definition of a function foo, in which I have defined a union and a variable to that. The only difference when compared to the syntax for structure is, rather than structure, you are using union. That is the only difference in the syntax. So you are declaring u as a variable of this union. That means at a time you can either use n or c, and that's it. And now suppose this function is being called during the execution of a program. You know that the moment it is called, memory will be allocated for all the variables in it. In this example, only one variable, which is u, which is getting memory allocated. So what is that memory allocated? You get memory which is just enough to store the value of the largest member in it. It's very important, because at a time only one member will be active. So no need to have separate memory allocated for both these variables. Just one will be active anytime. So what is the memory requirement? It is the memory requirement of the largest field in it. Integer requires 2 bytes, character requires 1 byte. That is the assumption for us. So only 2 bytes are getting allocated for you. We can see how it executes it. So only one member of you can be active at a time. If you want to simulate the execution, it goes like this. The first executable statement is this. What is it saying? The n field of the union variable u must be set as 356. So if you execute, what will happen is, this is what is going to happen. So not that only 2 bytes are allocated. So in that 2 bytes, because you are accessing it here using n, 356 will be assigned. Now you are to the next statement, which is you are trying to assign the character A, character constant A, to the C field of the variable u. So it's very important what is going to happen. Can you guess, if I execute this particular statement, what will happen? Not that the ASCII value of small a is 65. Okay, if that is 65, only 1 byte is required for the character. So what will be assigned? You can see that if you proceed, if you execute this statement, this is what is happening. See, not that only the first byte will be used by this particular field and 65 will be assigned there. So the other one is set as 0. So this is what is going to happen. And now see, what is the statement to be executed? It is a printf statement. And what you are trying to print? You are trying to print the value of the field n. Is it an error? So it's not an error. If you try to print, it will print, because every field in a union variable share the memory address here 501 with other fields in it. So regardless of what you use, both u.n and u.c have the same memory address. So both is 501. So now you are trying to print u.n as an integer, okay, as a decimal number. So what is the decimal number? 65. So 65 will be getting printed. So that is what is happening. Now what is the next statement to be executed? In the next line, there is a new line character. You are going to print as u.c is equal to %c. So you are going to print a character. Where from you are going to read? From the address of u.c. So what is the address of u.c? 501. So you will be printing the character equivalent of 65, which is A. So now here you see that both u.n and u.c are referring to the same memory location, and because you interpreted this as a number, 65 is getting printed, and here you are interpreting it as a character, and that is why small a is getting printed, because 65 is the ASCII value for small a. And I hope you are getting me. So the program finishes, so the instance is also getting deleted. And now note that it is the programmer's responsibility to keep track of which member of a union variable is active at a point in her program. And with that example, I think union programming construct is clear to you. And now we can try to get a data type for processing or maintaining the details of applications which are pending. That is the motivating example that we looked at. So this was the instance given. We wanted to maintain this kind of a table. My question is, how will you come up with a data type definition? And for the third field, definitely you have to go for a union data object, and then you can have a structure for the halt like a row in this table. Okay. Now I am giving you that solution, one possibility. For the third field, I am defining a union, namely student ID. The student ID can be either admission number in the institution, which is an unsigned data, or it could be the university register number, which is a character array. If you recall, this is exactly what we wanted. And not that I am creating a new data type, student ID, using typedef. And here again, recall that the only syntactic difference between the structure and union is that here the keyword is union. In the case of structure, it is struct. Okay, now student ID is a union data type. So at a time, either admission number can be used or university register number can be used, not both. Now using this, I am going to create the details of a pending application. If you recall, these are the four fields: the application number, which is an unsigned data, then the name of the applicant, which is a character array, then the third field was the ID of applicant, which could be either the admission number or university register number. So I just declared a variable of this newly defined data type. Student ID is the type and ID of applicant. Then finally, the type of application, that is again a character array. So I just declared or defined a data type for each application. Now the application table can be defined as an array of applications. Each application is characterized by the application number, name of the applicant, ID of the applicant, which could be either the admission number or the university register number, and finally the type of application. Just to cross check, this is what we wanted to have: application number, name of applicant, ID of applicant, which could be either the admission number or university register number, then the type of application, which is a character array. This is exactly what we did. Application number, which is just a number, the name of the student is a character array, ID of the applicant is either the admission number or register number, then finally the type of application is a character array. Okay, so we got the data type. And if you want to see how the programmer can access the attributes of the application in the table at index I, how will you do it? So at index I, application number can be accessed like this, because it is just a field of that structure. It's an array of structure. And if you want to access the name of the applicant, it is just another field in the structure. So at that index, that particular field. And if you want to access the ID of the applicant, you can either access the admission number like this. So at this index, ID of applicant, which is again a compound data type, union. So it could be admission number or it could be university register number. Not that at a time only one can access. Okay. And finally, if you want to access the type of application, this is how you can do it. Okay, at that particular index, this field of the structure. Okay, if you recall, syntax is very same as that of the structure, but the semantics is different. Here, only one field can be active at any time during the execution of the program. And with this, I am giving you an exercise which is to implement that motivating example. Write a menu-driven program with the following options I will give to maintain a table storing the details of applications pending with the university or institution. An application will be pending either with the university or with the institution, depending on the type of the application. And these are the details. And the options are: one is take an application. The moment a student submits an application, this option can be used to record it or record the required details to the table. Then option 2, to remove an application. Suppose the student submitted an application for course and contact certificate and the institution has issued it. Then you can remove that from the table because it's not going to be pending after the student gets it. Then the third option is to display the content of the application table. Just display that table. And option number 4 is for exiting from this application. So do it in a loop until the user gives this option. The user can continue exercising one of these options. Next option is display the details of all applications pending with the university. Not that, only those applications which are pending with the university you have to display, a subset of the table. And the last option is display those applications which are pending with the institution. So the department wants to know which are all those applications from students which are not yet decided by the institution. So that is the option 6. And not that, or assume that type of application which is the last field belongs to this set. It could be either one of the 4 different types: course and contact certificate, revaluation, transfer certificate, or degree certificate. So this is the one which helps the programmer or you as a programmer to decide which one will be active for a particular application depending on this type. If it is degree certificate, then it is a university registration number. If it is course and contact certificate, it is the admission number. Similarly, for revaluation, it is university registration number, and transfer certificate, the college admission number or admission number. So today we have seen a new programming language construct provided by the C language for creating a compound data object in which you can have finitely many fields of different data types, but at a time only one field can be active. We have seen a suitable example to see where we need this kind of a data object, and this programming language construct is called union, and the structure is same as, or the syntax for defining a union or declaring a union variable or accessing a union variable, including passing as parameters or returning from a function. All these are same as that of structure object. And here the only difference is in the semantics or the meaning, and the difference is that here only one field can be active at a time, and all the fields are sharing the same memory location, and so if you access the data using any field, you will get the same data. So that's what we have seen. Thank you.